Mr. Ryan back here with a lesson in science. Now, are you all living over there? I'm sure you are all living. You're all alive. You're moving, you're growing, you're feeling things, you are going out, you will also grow up just like your parents. So today, there's a picture that I'm going to show you. Have a look at this picture. You will see a lot of things in this picture. And we are just going to see, or we are just going to separate the things that are living, just like you, and the things that are non-living. So if you look at this picture, you will find that there are some living things like the dog, the small girl, the mosquito, the parrot, the tree, the fish. These are all living things. And the others which are not living, for example, the pencil, the chair, the stool, the bottle, bread, and the books, they are non-living or not living things. Now we will see that all these things that are living, the living things that are there in this picture, there is something special about all these things, just like something is special about you. That is, you and these living things are all alive. You are alive. And that is why there are certain characteristics which are connected with you being alive. And we are going to see that on the screen. There are 7 characteristics that we will look at. Feeds, grows, moves, senses, breathes, reproduces, and produces waste. All things that are living, all things that are alive, they feed just like you. You eat food, they grow, they move, they sense, you can see, you can hear, you can talk. They breathe, you take in air. They reproduce. You will see babies of certain animals. And they also have some waste which they have to get rid of from the body. So all living things have these characteristics. And today we are going to see these characteristics one by one. All living things are made up of plants and animals. So we are going to see these two categories separately, these two groups separately. So first we are going to see the first characteristic, A. Living things need food and water. First we will deal with the animals. Animals find food and water from their surroundings. From their surroundings, nearby, they get food, they get water. They also get nutrients and energy from the food that they eat, and that helps them to do different activities. Moving on to plants. Plants need food to get energy also. But they don't get food from their surroundings. Plants make their own food using air and water in the presence of sunlight and a green substance called chlorophyll present in the leaves. So they make their own food. But non-living things like the chair, the table, the books, they do not need food and water. Moving on to the second point, living things grow. just like you, are growing. All living things grow. We can see here in the picture, there's a seed growing into a small plant, and there, that's maybe you growing up into a grown-up man. Again, we are going to see the first section, plants. Plants grow throughout their life. Their growing never stops. They are always growing. But animals, the growth happens only up to a certain age. And then animals stop growing. Non-living things do not grow. Your table, your chair, the door does not grow. Now when we grow, when living things are growing, they also grow old and die, because they grow and they grow and they grow old and they die. Each living thing has a definite lifespan, after which it dies. So it lives for a certain period of time, a certain period of years, and then it dies. Some trees live for hundreds of years, and some animals live also for a very long time. So, after which they die. The third section comes, which tells us living things move. Just like you can move. Here we can see birds moving, a beetle moving on the branch, a man running, moving, and some fishes moving in the water. So, living things move. Looking at animals first, we will see animals move from place to place. Why? Because they search for food, they search for water, and they search for a place to stay, shelter. They also move to escape from their enemies, because when they are hunted, when they find their enemies are chasing them, they have to move. Most animals, how do they move? They move or walk with their legs. Birds and insects, they move or fly with their wings. And fish uses fins and tails to move. There are some birds, such as ostriches, kiwis and penguins. They cannot fly, but they use their legs to run very fast. So they also move from place to place. Plants. In the case of plants, plants do not move from place to place. If you have a plant in your house, in a pot, do you see that plant moving all over the house? No. It is still remains in the pot. Plants can move only their body parts, such as if we see the flower of the sunflower plant, it turns in the direction of the sun. So you may move it, you may move the pot in a different direction, but again you will find that the flower is turning to the direction of the sun. And non-living things, they cannot move on their own. You can move a chair. You can move a chair, but the chair cannot move on its own. Coming to the fourth point, or the fourth characteristic, living things feel and respond to the changes in the surroundings. So they sense, they can feel. Animals and plants feel and react to the changes that is happening around them. Most animals use their sense organs. They use their 5 sense organs: eyes, ears, nose, the tongue, and the skin to feel these changes. But plants, they do not have sense organs like animals. But they too feel and respond to the changes that are happening around them. For example, the mimosa plant. it folds its leaves as soon as you touch it. It is also called the touch me not plant. So it shows feeling, it shows response. But non-living things do not feel the changes in them or around them. The fifth point here, living things breathe. Just like you breathe, you take in air, living things also breathe. Here we can see the frog, insects, fish, and we have plants. So we are going to see how these breathe. First, in the case of animals, most animals and human beings breathe through their lungs inside their body. They use their nostrils, the nose, to take in and give out air. Animals such as frogs live both on land and in the water. When they are in the water, a frog breathes through its skin. But when on land, it breathes through lungs. Insects breathe through small air holes called spiracles on their bodies. And as we saw, fish breathe through their gills placed on the side. But plants breathe through very small openings in their leaves called stomata. This stomata are very small holes on the leaves through which the plant breathes. But non-living things, they do not breathe. Chair, the table, the door, the fridge, they don't breathe. Coming to the next point, we have living things reproduce. Now here you can see three pictures. One is of a tiger with a baby cub. Then we have the hen with the chick. And then we have a seed moving into a plant, or the plant having a seed, growing from a seed. The process by which living things produce their own kind is called reproduction. So when any living thing produces its own kind, the process is called reproduction. For example, in animals, we see cows, bears, tigers, human beings, they all give birth to young ones. But birds, snakes, lizards, frogs, fish and insects, they lay eggs. So there are two ways of reproduction. In some animals, they give birth to their young ones, and some animals, they lay eggs. But in plants, we see most plants reproduce with the help of seeds, as we saw in the picture, that the plant grows from the seed. Some plants can also reproduce from the roots, stem or leaves. For example, a new rose plant grows by planting the cutting of its stem. So a part of the stem, if it is put into the ground, a new rose plant will grow. But non-living things, they do not reproduce. Coming to the last point now, living things give out waste products. After living things use food and carry on the different activities in their life, the body produces some waste products, which are poisonous, which should not be inside the body. And therefore, living things have to remove these waste products from their body. But non-living things, they do not produce any waste products. So now we have seen that living things have 7 characteristics which make them different from non-living things. The worksheet with this lesson will be provided to you separately. Thank you.